Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here. All right, so let's talk about the time that I was told by my manager that I was fat. And I'm going to preface it with this before we get into it, okay? I've never been fat, all right? I've been a little fatter than normal, but I've never been fat. All right, I have a very hard time putting on fat. I probably just jinxed myself. But, I'll be 50, I'll probably be 400 pounds overweight. All right, let's just start with that. Now, if you've been in my YouTube lives, you've heard me mention this before, but I've never really told the whole story about how this happened. And I think it gives you some insight into kind of how managers will talk with players, how certain coaches will talk with players. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight into that. All right, so now let's just kind of set up the story. 2006, I'm drafted. I hit no home runs, okay? I'm only in short season. I played in probably 40-something games. What do you know? I got hit with a ball in the hand and almost broke my hand. I was out for a while, and so I missed some games. And plus, short season it's a short season. There's not a whole lot of games in it. But the next year, in 2007, I go to single A, I go to high A ball, and I hit 21 home runs, okay? Most of my life. Never hit 21 home runs in my life before. That's probably more home runs in that one season than I hit my whole life combined, other than Little League. I mean, I hit like 20 in Little League. But I hit even more in Pro Ball than I hit in Little League, okay? So long story short, I hit a lot of home runs. And I actually didn't hit one in the month of August, I don't think. So I should have hit like 25. Anyways, I digress. So I have this big home run year. Now I'm like a top prospect for the Padres. I think I was number 2 prospect in the organization behind Chase Headley because he had a big year that year in Double A as well. And okay, so I hit a lot of home runs, and I did it at probably, I don't know, I was weird. I'd come into the season always. That season I probably came in at like 205, 206, 207. By the end of the year, I probably weighed like 185. I lost a lot of weight during the year, okay? But even at 205, I'm still very skinny. All right, not skinny, sorry. I don't have body fat, okay? I have very little body fat. And so after the season, I talked with our farm director, and he says, hey man, he's like, yeah, great year, 21 home runs, I like it. He goes, you could be a 30-plus home run guy. I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I could be. I agree with you. He says, I want you to come back as big and as strong as you possibly can next year. No problem. Like, I love lifting weights. I'll come back huge. I'll look like I should be in the WWE. That's fine, I'll do it. So I go home. Me and my buddy, Nick Santa Barbara, we work out. We work out a lot. And I eat a lot of Chinese food, okay? So here's the thing. I'm naturally, like right now, well, I'm old now, okay? So I got a little bit extra body fat on me. Not a lot, but, I got a little bit more. Kind of like right around here, If you're older, you know what I'm talking about. And so back then, I didn't have that at all, okay? I could get like really big, and I still relatively low body fat, all right? But I say, I'm going to get huge this year, guys. Going to get huge, okay? I'm hitting 40 home runs. 30 home runs? No, I'm hitting 40 home runs. And so I lift hard every day, and I eat. I got to eat a lot of food to get that big, okay? And so I'm eating 2 dinners a day. What I did was I usually would make a huge dinner. Who am I kidding? I didn't make it, okay? My mom made it. So my mom would make me a huge dinner, or I would go out and order big dinner, okay? Like if I was going to Chipotle, I'm not getting 1 burrito, I'm getting 2 burritos. So I can eat 1 for dinner, and then I can have another one like 3 hours later. And that's how I put on a lot of weight. Lift hard, eat a lot, put on weight. And so I do this, and my go-to is Chinese food, okay? General Gao's chicken from I Yit Ho in Peabody, Massachusetts, okay? You get some rice, you get some chicken fingers, you get some General Gao chicken, which probably had about 4,000 calories in it. They did put some broccoli in there to make you feel healthy. It's like, here's 4,000 calories in this like sauce that's probably gonna give you a heart attack, but we'll put 3 pieces of broccoli in there to make you feel good about yourself. So after you eat the 4,000 calories, you can eat a few pieces of broccoli and say, hey, you know what? That was a healthy meal right there. I got my vegetables, I got my greens, and I also gave me more cholesterol than a normal person should eat in probably a month and a half. So I did that a lot. Now, I didn't really get fat, but I did get huge, okay? And I probably had a little more body fat than normal because I weighed in at spring training at 223, all right? And the heaviest I'd ever been before that was 216 in college. When I was 216, like I was humongous. But again, I didn't have a whole lot of body fat. But you add another, 7 more pounds to that, and I did it pretty quickly. Yeah, I got a little bit extra body fat, all right? So I show up to spring training, and I'm thinking like, yeah, you're right. You're damn right. Told me to get big, and here I am. I'm ready to sumo wrestle. I wasn't really though, but here I'm big and strong. And so I start playing. Now, I don't know what happened. My swing kind of fell apart. You guys know the story. I'm not going to tell you the whole story again. But I don't hit well, okay? I will say this. I get up the first day of spring training and batting practice, is big league spring training, and I'm hitting these balls, like I'm flicking the ball, like, and the ball's going a mile, okay? So, like, I hit awesome. I actually get up my first at-bat in spring training, first big league spring training at-bat that year, first game of the season. First pitch I swing at, boom, we're playing at home in Peoria, Arizona. Bang, I hit this thing, home run. I'm rounding the bases, I think I'm Barry Bonds. I'm like, literally, like, guys, like, I wanted to hit 30. They wanted me to hit 30. I wanted to hit 40. I'm going to hit 50 in the big leagues. I'm going to hit 50. So I'm like rounding those things, and I'm like, I think I'm the best player ever. Well, I end up not hitting great that spring training. I didn't hit bad, but I didn't hit great. I probably hit like 250. I don't know. I don't know if they keep spring training stats. 2008 spring training. See if you can find how I hit. I think I hit like around 250. I could be wrong. But anyways, I think that was my only home run that I actually hit. And at the end of spring training, you know, they when they send you down, when they opt you down to the minor leagues or send you down to AAA or to wherever you're going, they sent me down to AAA, they call you into the manager's office, all right? I've been called in a lot of times. Like the Padres sent me down to AAA a lot. You know, and it's pretty, you go in and you sit with Buddy or whoever your manager is and they say like, hey man, you did a good job and, you know, but we're going to send you down. Or maybe they say like, hey man, like you stink, like you got to really work on this stuff. They won't say you stink, but they'll say you really got to work on this stuff. And they'll send you down. And actually, when I was with the Orioles, they sent me down very late in spring training. And this is funny. I've never told this story before. I sat down with Buck Showalter, and Buck was like, he's like, hey man, you know, he's like, you start off spring training great. And, you know, we thought we really had something there. And then you kind of cooled off, which I did. You know, first game, I had like a couple hits against the Rays. I started second base, and I was like, I'm going to make the big league team. And I didn't. I got sent to AAA. But he said, you know, man, you start off great, and you slowed down a little bit at the end, but you know, we're going to send you to AAA and we're going to get you, you know, a ton of at-bats there. You're going to start at third base and, you know, hopefully get back up here soon. I said, okay, cool. And the funny part is, this is not the story I was supposed to tell, but it reminded me. The funny part is that there ended up being 3 of us at AAA, 3 third basemen, and we all rotated. Nobody started. We just rotated through. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, what? I'm like, he told me that I was going to come down and be the starting third baseman and play all the time. And I'm like, I'm not. So I'm talking to the other third baseman one day, and we're kind of just talking about different stuff, and like, you know, why are we all rotating, whatever. So I tell that story. I'm like, yeah, that's weird. You know, that's what he said to me. And the other third baseman goes, what? He goes, when I went into Buck's office, he told me the same thing, that I was going to come down here, be the third baseman, and get, you know, a ton of at bats, and hopefully get back up there. So I'm like, that's weird. Then the other third baseman goes, hold on. He's like, he told me the same thing. So we're all sitting there like, he told all 3 of us the same damn thing, that we're all going to come down, we're all going to get starts, we're all going to be the starter at third base, and hopefully we get back up there. All 3 of us. I don't think any of us actually got back up to the big leagues with them. But so that gives you an idea how those meetings go. So anyways, when I go in with the Padres in 2008, Buddy looks at me. I don't think I'm fat at this point. He says, hey Matt, you know, we're not looking for fat second baseman. And I was like, I think I sat there for a second. And I was like, I've never been called fat in my life. So I was like, excuse me? And he's like, and he was right. I was too big. I wasn't fat. I don't even think he meant fat. I was just too big. Like, I couldn't steal as much. I could hit the ball a mile, but like my game swing wasn't great. It wasn't great before then. I kind of told you I already started losing my swing, but I do think there is such a thing as just being a little too big for what your body can carry. Like my body perfectly is probably like 207 to 210 would be like my ideal weight. Like, you know, my fighting weight. If I was a boxer, you'd be like, yeah, that's his ideal fighting weight right there. You know, like if I had to pick, you know, coming out of the blue corner, I don't know what my nickname would be, but like 207 to 210 pounds. That's what I want to come out with. You know, if I came out at 223, you know, that's probably like Mike Tyson when he went to fight, who did he lose to? Buster Douglas. Like, that's probably like Mike Tyson, you know, when he's over, where was that fight? Tokyo or something, when he didn't train very hard and he got his ass kicked. Man, I remember that fight. This is weird. I was watching that fight at my house with my parents. I was very young. I don't know how old I was. I feel like I was 5 years old. I remember watching that fight, and I remember my family had a bunch of people over, and I thought the TV was going to explode. I ran away. I was a weird kid. I thought the TV was going to explode because everyone was screaming and they're fighting on the TV, and I didn't even see the knockout, I don't think, because I was scared. But anyways, it's a weird video. I'm kind of bouncing all over the place. But 223 was not my fighting weight, okay? Too big, you know, it's too big for a second baseman. And I think that's what he was trying to tell me, but he told me I was fat. I got kind of upset about that a little bit, but look at my pictures, man. Like, I'm not fat, but I'm kind of big there. I'm too big. So that was the last time I ever came in at 223. I also was thinking, I was like, you guys told me to get as big and strong as I could, and that's what I did. But they didn't want me that big. They wanted me strong, not that big. So that's the time I was called fat, and I made sure to never come in again at that weight. And by the way, Buddy Black is a terrific guy. I thought he was, I don't want to say my favorite manager, but he might have been. I just thought he was really good guy. Like, I never hung out with him off the field, but I just thought he was a really good guy. Like, he always seemed to take a real interest in the players. And I've told this before, like, even when I wasn't up in the big leagues and I kept getting sent down and I was struggling, he would always tell me to keep my head up and I was going to have a big league career. I remember stretching one day in the corner at spring training, and I think I was in minor league spring training. Not minor league spring training, excuse me, but I'd already been sent down to the minors, and I was over stretching with my headphones on. He came over and like tapped me on the shoulder, took my headphones out, and told me to like keep working hard and hang in there. That I was going to play in the big leagues for a long time and all that stuff. And unfortunately, he couldn't see the future that great because that never happened. But I appreciate the pep talk and the confidence and all that. So maybe he didn't believe it. Maybe he was like, well, I'm just going to be a nice guy here. But made me feel good. So that's all we got. The time I was called fat. Haven't been called fat since. Thanks, buddy. Only guy in history to call me fat. That's all we got. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff. We'll talk to you later. If you've enjoyed this video and want to learn more about building the elite swing, check out our new course. We have over 2 hours of content, almost 30 hitting drills. We break down the exact mechanics that you're going to want to implement into your swing. I've put the link in the description if you want to go check it out.